How's it going, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well again. Can't stop coming up with new ideas and inventions. I'm going to share something with you really quick. Now, this isn't going to be that long a video, maybe about 25-30 minutes to explain a new idea that I came up with today. What you're looking at on the screen is something really particular that I came up with earlier today for some reason. I don't know why I came up with this idea. I just thought I'd just run it by you and see if you think this is a great idea to hide signatures. Like if you wanted to be secret or something, you want to be an anonymous author, and you wanted to hide your signature, but there was a very particular way that you could find out what your name was, if you know what I mean. Well, think about this. Imagine if you wrote a book, but you wanted, like I said, you wanted to be anonymous, but there was a particular thing that you had to do in order to read your signature. So in other words, what I'm going to share with you right now is this invention that I came up with. It's not an invention, it's just an idea. My brain is always running. I got this idea when I was at the bank today. And I just ran in to get some money out. No big deal. And there was a man in front of me with his bank bag. And they were sending that money through that cash counter, that little machine, what do you call it? The cash counting machine. And my brain is always running, it never stops. And I was just watching it, and bam, I just got this idea about a way that you can hide your signature in the book. Invisible, but it's visible. If you know what I mean. It's an optical illusion. But you have to be smart in order to find it. And it's also very, not time consuming, it's very time limited. For instance, the more you try to find out a signature, the more you wear out the pages. And the less opportunity you have to find the signature. And you have to do it the hard way. You got to trace every dot to come out with a signature. But here's the idea. Alright, so let's start at the top here. So my idea is how to write your name backwards by using one dot on as many pages as possible, in a way where you have to kind of treat the book as a flip book. You know those neat, awesome flip books that you flip through really fast and the images move like an optical illusion? It's kind of like that. But it incorporates one single dot on the bottom right-hand page, starting at the bottom right, the bottom page on the right-hand corner, and then it gradually moves with the stroke of the signature. Let me explain this right quick. Now, as you can see the graphic up above, you have a bottom view of a book. So you have the yellow line here with the arrows. There goes another airplane. Jeez, going to drown out the audio. Always goes right above the house, and we're nowhere near an airport. All right. So here we go. The beginning of the dots start at the bottom right-hand side. Beginning part of the name writing, but it's the ending of the name. Like the ending of your last name. And you have the ending of the dots up here in the top. Right here. That's where the ending of the dots and the ending of the name writing ends, basically. But it's the beginning of your name. Now, like I said, you have to think the way some particular human being always thought. Forwards and backwards. Backwards and forwards. The ending of the writing, but it's the beginning of your name at the top of the book, top pages. Beginning of the dots, ending of your name on the complete opposite side, forwards and backwards. Basically, the dots, they move to different positions on each page. Basically, rights, backwards, in this direction. But you have to treat it as a flip book. Depends on how long your name is going to be. It depends on how many pages in between each dot is. So here's what you have to do to make this successful. Now, this would have been really successful a long time ago because there were actually books. And now we're in the Kindle world. So, the world of Kindle and online reading and technology and looking at text on a iPad or something. So books are, far and few between, even though they still exist. So this is going to be harder to, work with. So basically you would take like Da Vinci. First point, basically a dot, and you would map it out. Of course, they'd be a lot smaller. You're talking about 150 dots if it's 150 pages. So you would say 150 dots. You would have to do the math. Pure brilliance, I would say. Thank you, Leonardo. And you would just track the dots. Last page, all the way to the last point on the first page. Writing backwards. There are the dots. Then the bottom graphic here just explains. You got the bottom page, and these dots are way out of scale. Don't mind the scale. But basically it's just the idea that in this direction, from bottom pages to top pages, the dot moves. Like those flip books. And in order to track the dots, you'd have to treat it as a flip book. So people aren't going to know that. Now when people buy a book, they're going to wonder why there's some random dot on many of the pages. It's probably not going to be on all the pages. It just depends on how long your signature is, or what your name, how many letters there's going to be in your name or something. So that's a big factor. That's a huge factor. And also if you're going to use your full name, besides just your first and last name or vice versa. So that's the way you can hide it. But it's not hidden. It's invisible. But it's a code. A code that can be broken. All they have to do is flip the pages like a flip book. And they'll watch the dots. Write your name backwards. And you're probably wondering, why do you start on the bottom right hand side? When you do a flip book, where do you start to make the fun happen, the optical illusion? You start with the bottom, and you just do it all right the way through the top, correct? Yes. Or you can do it either way, it doesn't matter. So, my concept for this would be to write it backwards, not forwards, because you could write it forwards. You can just flip the script and do it upside down. You can start over here with the flip book, or to write your signature. First name starts over here with the first dot. You just flip the entire script of what I've designed out for you right here, where you just flip it over. The first point is here, last point is up here. So when you just flip the pages really fast like a flip book, you write your name forwards. But I thought it'd be more interesting to write it backwards, a la you know who. Exactly. Harder to break the code. Much harder to understand your name. But it's an optical illusion. But the more you try to find out their name, and the more attempts you try to find out, doing it too many times, you wear out the pages. They're a whole lot more flimsier than they were before. They're not as strong. They're not as, sturdy. It'll be much harder to try to find out the dots writing the name. It's that simple. But anyway, if you lost that opportunity, you would have to trace every single dot on a piece of trace paper over and over and over again. And then what you do is you would get this in this case. Watch the arrow. If you did that, you would get what you see here. And you would overlay every dot on top of each other as one unit, creating the name. Just like that. That would be your second option, which will take a very long time if you ask me. You're talking about a few hours, maybe a whole day. But I think it's more fun to do it the flip version. To flip through it really fast, like a flip book. So basically it's at the bottom of every single page from bottom to top. So I hope you enjoy that idea of mine. Like I said, I'm always thinking. I just came up with this idea when I was at the bank today. And just watching the money machine count the money really fast. In my mind, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. That would be a very interesting way to hide a signature in a book. An optical illusion. A la you know who. I'll see you in the next video. Why don't you try that? Tell me how it works.